Water is the essential element that all life depends upon. Compared to other planets, the Earth is uniquely endowed. It is nourished by water and air, and blessed with the successions of night and day caused by its orbit around the Sun with the Moon. Abundant, diverse, and unique life forms have evolved on Earth. From water to land. From creeping aquatic plants to erect trees and shrubs. The bountiful wetland provides habitats and feeding grounds for many different animals. With the changing seasons, either as long-term residents or transient passengers, these animals take turns to perform on Mother Nature's stage. They exist in symbiotic or predatory competition, where they occupy their own niches in life's theater and thrive. This expanse of low-lying, seemingly waterlogged wasteland appears in the eyes of many people to be a marshland that lacks development value. But careful scrutiny shows that it is really a wetland paradise that conceals unlimited, exuberant vitality. Located on the west side of Hengchuan Peninsula, the Hengchuan Rift Valley was formed by plate tectonic movement 1 million years ago. After the central mountain range pushed westward along the Hengchuan Fault, the front edge of the fault subsided gently and the Hengchuan Rift Valley took shape. The low-lying wetland at the southern tip of the Rift Valley slowly collected enough rainwater to form Longluan Lake, the largest inland lake in the peninsula. It covers 175 hectares and is referred to by the locals simply as the Big Lake. Owing to its depressed topography, the Big Lake was always prone to flooding during the rainy seasons. In 1948, the government funded the construction of dikes. Since then, the flooding has subsided and Longluan Lake became an important reservoir for the Hengchuan Peninsula. The groundwater, as well as water flowing out from Longluan Lake, has been the main source of agricultural irrigation. In addition to Hengchuan Peninsula's signature produce, onions, the other important product which needs water for irrigation is rice. From seedlings to the plants laden with grains, rice needs water all the time. This is when Longluan Lake plays its major role as a reservoir. Hengchuan Old Town was built in 1875 during the Qing Dynasty. After more than 100 years, the 4 city gates and parts of the old city wall still stand today. Taking a stroll inside the old town, one is often struck by a sense of nostalgia. Next to the West Gate, there's a well-known attraction called Monkey Cave Hill. Below it, a stone wall by the Guangning Palace sports the poem Hengchuan 8 Views, written by the poet Liang Yan in 1879. One of the views mentioned in the poem describes moonlight reflected in the heart of the lake after a thunderstorm. That is Longluan Lake. Another poet, Zhong Tianyou, also praised the beautiful lake view as autumn reflected on the Dragon Lake. In different seasons, be it at dawn or at night, Longluan Lake is always able to show its unique beauty. This is autumn, when the reed beds are turning white and all the migratory birds are preparing for their journeys. In the fields, damselflies can be seen fluttering delicately everywhere. Many flocks of cattle egrets have arrived in Hengchuan Peninsula. In groups or alone, they rest amidst the farmlands and wetland. As the northeast monsoon strengthens daily, the autumnal high clouds race by rapidly in the sky. Next to the remaining few herds of grazing cattle in the peninsula, the cattle egret can still be seen sauntering close by. It catches the bugs disturbed by the cattle, and in return relieves the cattle from being harassed by mosquitoes and flies. This picturesque scene seems to reiterate the intimate relationship between the cattle and the cattle egret, which has existed for a long time. However, as time moves on, farming has been mechanized. The plowing cattle have been replaced by tractors, and the egret has a new partner. Now it follows the iron cattle. Unless the egret is feeding, it normally rests in the wetland marshes to restore its strength for the upcoming cross-ocean flight. However, as soon as a marsh harrier is spotted circling nearby, the egret will panic and take to the air in hundreds or thousands to escape from the threat. The predator is stunned by the sheer numbers of prey and doesn't know where to start. To avoid the heat of day and being hunted by diurnal predators, most migratory birds choose to move on at night. As darkness closes in, and after a few hovering test flights, this flock of egrets begins to mobilize. They form their migratory formation and set off on their journey towards the south. During every August and September, migratory activities such as this will persist from evening to the dark of night. Then, the egrets will fly over Nan Wan and cross the Luzon Strait in single file or V-shaped formation before they continue southward. Apart from the lively scenes during the day, the struggles for survival are staged at Longluan Lake at night as well. Among the twisting vines and roots of aquatic plants, the greedy dragonfly nymph hunts incessantly for anything alive. Whether it's a cute plump tadpole, midge larva, or even a weaker fellow nymph, any of these can be a target of its hunt. On a clear night, a mature nymph crawls out of the water's surface and clings tightly onto a twig. With its back infused with body fluid, it bursts open the seam of the tough backplate of its thorax. Then, laboriously, a morphed dragonfly emerges from the old shell. At the end, it pumps its body fluid to stretch its wrinkled wings and unravel its tail. After that, it just stays still to rest and wait for daybreak. Many creatures often adopt the reproduction strategy of collective occurrence as a trade-off for the continuity of life. The damselfly mates in a unique position and then proceeds to lay a massive number of eggs by dipping in low-lying shallow water, thus continuing its life. In 1982, the establishment of Kanding National Park was announced, and Longluan Lake was designated as a special landscape area inside the park. In 1994, Longluan Lake Nature Center was opened and became Taiwan's first pavilion and natural educational center focusing on bird ecology. In 2007, Longluan Lake was accredited as one of Taiwan's key wetlands. To get to the Nature Center, tourists must walk for 800 meters from the parking lot. This is to minimize the disturbance and noise pollution caused by automobiles in the park. Of course, one can observe nature more closely on foot as well. Besides the rich array of outdoor flora for observation, Longluan Lake Nature Center provides a cozy indoor environment, birdwatching equipment, and guided tours, so that visitors can fully enjoy the changing colors, light and shadows of the lake, and the beauty of the wild birds. It is October. The strong northeast monsoon starts to sweep down the peninsula with a top speed almost equal to that of a low-category typhoon, which is pretty intimidating. This special climate poses a great challenge to the survival of the local people as well as the animals of Hengchuan Peninsula. On days when the northeast monsoon howls violently, ducks will flock together on the east or northeast side of Longluan Lake, hiding on the water near the embankment from the raging gale. The majority of wintering migratory birds of Longluan Lake are wild geese and ducks, with the tufted duck being the most common species, numbering around 2,000. The tufted duck is very skillful at diving. Like many other waterfowl, it's equipped with a well-developed uropygial or preen gland, which protects and makes the duck's feathers waterproof, so it can stay active on the water all day. With its neat diving technique, the tufted duck can chase and capture aquatic creatures, as well as escape from any threat. There are 37 different kinds of ducks and geese recorded in Taiwan, and 27 of them have been spotted in Longluan Lake. Apart from moving and resting on the lake, they will fly in groups into the wetland or rice paddies surrounding the lake, or outside the north embankment to feed. Ducks are omnivorous birds. Be it algae, tender shoots, stems or leaves of aquatic plants, fish, shellfish, or even insects, ducks won't say no to anything. The spotted-billed duck can be seen all year round here and is one of the few ducks that actually breed in Longluan Lake. As opposed to the tufted duck's amazing diving prowess, the rotund spotted-billed duck can only resort to the upside-down, bottom-up position to get food underwater. Some ducks, such as the shoveler, feed on algae or plankton by filtering them out from the water. The shoveler first sucks in big mouthfuls of water with food in it. Then it squeezes the discharge of water from both sides of its sieve-like beak before swallowing any food separated out this way. Ducks are also known to work together, sometimes in a big group, paddling in sync and in a circle, creating a whirlpool to churn up the food from the bottom and then feed in unison. The osprey likes to perch on top of its favorite dead branch on the bird island to rest or enjoy its prey. Every winter, at least 1 or 2 ospreys can be observed wintering at Longluan Lake area. Once during the migratory season, 5 ospreys were spotted hovering above the water at the same time. The osprey is an active predator. Normally, it will continue to search forcefully over a vast area of water. Once prey is located, it will lock on by flapping its wings to hover in midair. Then it will dive towards the water at tremendous speed, only to extend its talons when closing in on the water surface. Because fish are normally slippery, the osprey has evolved special toes to fasten the prey tightly so that no fish can struggle to get free. While grabbing the prey with both feet will inevitably slow it down in flight, the clever osprey learns to turn its talons to align the fish head forward to reduce air resistance. The sturdy dead branch on the bird island is the osprey's favorite dining table. Unless the northeast monsoon is blowing so hard as to make it impossible to stay put, the osprey brings its prey back here to enjoy at leisure. Rare and large geese, such as the white-fronted goose and the bean goose, have also started to winter in Longluan Lake regularly in the past few years. Still, to most people, the wetlands that waterfowl favor are nothing but useless, waterlogged wastelands. Junk or waste can sometimes be found around the private fish farms along the east bank. Only a limited number of patrolling personnel are available to provide guidance and law enforcement. The intention of constructing the artificial embankment is to improve the environment. However, though turning the original hydrophilic natural embankment into concrete walls might be a quick fix, it could lead to habitat destruction and severe environmental impact. In contrast to the artificial environment on the east side of Longluan Lake, diverse vegetation and habitats are still intact on the west side. Thanks to the long-term careful design and maintenance, the continuing hydrophilic natural embankment has provided a safe and friendly environment, undisturbed by human interference. Formosan sika deer, released back into the wild, can now roam freely and live here at leisure. Other human activities along the shore might also disturb the wildlife. In the past, local people used to go fishing and catch shellfish by the lake. Now, all these activities are prohibited by law. Inspection and persuasion are enforced to minimize impact on wildlife. In the old days, to stop the wild ducks from damaging the fragile crop seedlings, farmers resorted to the most direct prevention method, capturing them with bird netting or killing them with poisonous bait. Nowadays, using the more friendly warning flashlights to expel the ducks has become the fashion. Kanding National Park Administration regularly sponsors fun activities and programs, such as the Longluan Lake Wild Duck and Geese Season, with the intention to instill environmental awareness into the daily life of the general public. Nothing can last long without a sound foundation. Only by sowing the seeds of conservation in the hearts of our children through education can we nurture care for our environment. Spring has arrived and flowers are in bloom. Driven by biological clocks, the birds launch their breeding rituals. With agitated body language and an extravagant dance, the green-winged teal hopes to win the favor of the opposite sex. The male teal chooses a special site to perform his mating display with great gusto. To draw the female's attention and then to fulfill the grand plan of procreation, he not only has to compete with other males, but in the end, he must win the competition. As the southerly winds take hold and the temperature creeps up daily, ducks begin to show signs of restlessness. As soon as spring sets in, and whenever there is clear and stable weather, the waterfowl will return north in batches. They first migrate within the island, then slowly push further northward. The sandpipers and plovers start to ride the balmy southerlies and fly northward as well. Crossing the oceans to arrive at Hongchuan Peninsula, they transfer to various coastal estuaries and wetlands, foraging hard to add strength and poised to advance to their breeding sites further north. Most migratory birds would have molted and replaced their breeding plumage by now. The new plumage is perfect for the marathon flight. The fully prepared birds can engage in reproductive activities without any delay as soon as they land on their breeding sites. As springtime begins, resident birds enter mating season as well. The carnivorous lesser cuckoo is overlord of the farmlands and pastures surrounding Longluan Lake. It is big and stout and will devour anything, including large insects, snails, lizards, as well as young chicks of other birds. Although the painted snipe is a common resident in the rice paddies and wetland marshes, owing to its shy nature, it's not often spotted. However, during mating season, the touching scene of the snipe couple in a wife takes the lead and husband follows ritual can be easily seen. With the female being a notorious shrew, the slightest attempt from other females to seduce her spouse incurs an explosion of threats until the intruder is driven away. In the breeding model of the painted snipe, the sexual roles are reversed. As opposed to other common birds, the male and female painted snipes swap places. The female will actively court the male. She will often sing hard from dusk to late at night, in order to find a suitable mate to build a love nest with her. Then she will take off after laying 3 to 6 eggs, leaving the male to hatch and care for the young. The fish reserve in Longluan Lake is rich in both variety and quantity. This, of course, attracts quite a few aquatic food lovers, and the kingfisher is one of them. The kingfisher specializes in diving into the water to catch the fish or shellfish, and then returns to perch on a dead branch to enjoy its catch. During mating season, the kingfisher digs a hole in the earthy embankment and builds a nest in it. The depth of the hole is about 90 centimeters. Both parent birds work together to rear their young. Normally, there are 4 to 6 chicks in each brood. The chick's appetite is like a bottomless pit, so both parent birds can only hunt until they drop, trying to meet the chick's endless demands. Summer arrives to officially announce the start of the typhoon season, as well as the beginning of the rainy season for Hengchuan Peninsula. Laden with enormous energy and huge amounts of rainfall, the southern tropical cyclone watches like a tiger, ready to pounce on the island. In August 2011, intense typhoon Namadu moved directly towards Taiwan from the Luzon Strait. In terms of typhoon paths, Hengchuan Peninsula sticks out as an outpost of Taiwan. It is therefore always pre-exposed to the treacherous atmosphere brought about by the typhoon's peripheral circulation before it actually strikes. A staggering amount of rain, hidden within the low-pressure front's thick clouds, is about to arrive. Although Namadu eventually landed in Taidong, and after crossing the central mountain range, weakened into a tropical storm, which lifted the alarm, its typhoon circulation sucked in a strong southwesterly airstream, bringing amazing amounts of precipitation to the Hengchuan Peninsula. While the storm lasted, total precipitation in Hengchuan exceeded 1,000 millimeters, breaking Hengchuan Weather Station's precipitation record over the past 115 years. Owing to its low-lying altitude, Longluan Lake area was like an oversaturated sponge, with its water retention function overloaded. As a result, excess rainwater flooded the surrounding wetland marshes and farmlands. Heavy rain might bring forth short-term disasters for the land, but the Earth would not have such rich and vibrant diversity if not for the never-ending drastic changes that have taken place since time immemorial. Left alone without human manipulation and interference, nature would heal itself and regain ecological equilibrium at amazing speed. Right before the flood receded and migratory birds came through, Kanding National Park Administration mobilized staff and volunteer workers to undertake restoration and maintenance work in wild bird habitats, following environmentally friendly engineering models. It is autumn again, the time of the year when migratory birds embark on their journeys. A crowd positions itself along the embankment, preparing to marvel at the annual extravaganza. Trustworthy egrets return on schedule the same as in years before. Seeming to have sensed the passion of the audience, they repeatedly perform a spectacular aerial dance, covering the entire sky. In the eyes of many living things, the big lake, Longluan Lake, is a safe habitat upon which their survival depends. The links in a teeming food chain, complete and tightly connected. The last haven for waterfowl on the southern tip of this island. a heavenly transit stop for migratory birds, a wetland paradise on the Cape to sustain the lives of people of the Hangchuan Peninsula, as well as its many other living creatures.